Action! Right, Millsy?
Yes.
Good?
Not going to do the joke about the puff then.
Yeah, no, I see you're sitting on a puff. Not for the first time.
Yeah, it's a footstool.
Oh, fine.
Anyway, so you follow me on Instagram, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately I have to, yeah. Oh, hang on. RS mug.
Stolen.
Like
all good RSs. Yeah, so I was on Instagram and I did a stories thing and I just said, if you've got a question about Max Power, ask me. Obviously, lots of questions.
You got a lot of questions, didn't you?
A lot of
got
questions.
a right little fan club out there, haven't you?
Quite a few saying, did any of the staff fuck any of the birds? It's like,
no.
Couldn't possibly say, right? But one of the things that a lot of
dirty
people...
bastards.
Yeah, they were dirty bastards.
Dirty questions, weren't they?
Yeah.
Did you shag loads of birds?
Yeah. It's like they wanted photos or something. It was weird.
Got loads of them. I haven't.
But one of the main questions that people were asking were, was there anything weird or problematic that happened on photo shoots?
Yeah.
And then I thought, problematic on photo shoots?
Yeah.
Who's the best person to talk to about that?
Yeah.
And here I am talking to you.
Oh,
yeah.
what? Because I'm some sort of numbskull.
Yeah, well, you were like quite well known. Well, we'll get on to that, but you were quite well known for, you know, if there's something stupid happening and John the editor waved like 20 quid under your nose, you were basically up for it.
Yeah, literally, give me a few quid and I'll literally do anything.
Yeah,
my mother's so proud.
Tattoo on your arse.
Tattoo everywhere.
Was that 20 quid to get that done, was it? Or did he just pay for the tattoo?
Yeah, he paid for the tattoo, yeah.
So basically you did it for free.
Mm.
Yeah.
Great.
But anyway, photo shoots, like so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to figure out how many photo shoots we might have done between us.
Yeah.
And,
hundreds, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. And they vary, obviously, because you got cruises, you had car shoots, you had feature shoots, you had girl shoots.
Yeah, I did a lot of babe shoots, which was good.
You did do a lot of babe shoots, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I noticed that. I keep on seeing, like, every shoot with birds, it's like, oh, there's Dan again.
Natural affinity with women, Millsy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just because a lot of photographers found that if girls look a bit scared in photos, it kind of comes across as sexy.
It is, yeah.
They send you down there and they'll be like...
Sexy face and scared face, very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
But no, photo shoots and mishaps on them.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's fun, right? So, generally, for those of you that don't know, how a photo shoot would normally work, feature car, it would be, obviously, arrange it with the owner of the car, get the photographer booked, because we had a little bank of photographers. Fly was often the main one, but we had a couple of other guys that were really good. If
he's got a sexy girlfriend, bring her along.
Yeah, that was always useful. And then we drive down to meet them at wherever they lived, scout around the area for a bit often.
Look for a location.
Yeah, would you, like, because sometimes you'd look for the location before you met the guy so that you could turn up and go, we found somewhere,
let's
follow
go.
us.
Yeah.
Other times you'd meet them and then try and find somewhere, which was a bit of a pain for them.
Yeah, you try and keep the car clean, you turn up with a nice clean car and, don't be driving around too much getting it dirty.
Yeah, dirt was always a bit of a problem, wasn't it? Really? And then we find a location which would normally be like an urban sort of run-down sort of
gritty
thing, because we figured, like, put a nice car in front of a crappy background and the car looks even better.
Yeah.
And then we do the shoot, which there were some instances, but we'd do all the static stuff, details of all the bits around the car, and then moving stuff, which was always important, and cover shoots. A lot of the cover shots were tracking shots. So tracking shots, I think people call them rollers or whatever.
Is that what the kids call them?
That's what the kids call them. But that was basically where you, like, driving car, bike next to car, down like a dual carriageway, and you'd have the photographer hanging out the window, out the door, out the boot, wherever, and trying to get a shot of the car moving from different angles. And
it's a cool shot, isn't it? You've got to have a cool shot. The wheels are in motion, background's all blurred.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But the problem with that is, obviously, like, it's probably not that legal.
No.
And when you got the guy's car, so I mean, I remember, like, Stevie Ho's Civic up in Scotland, we shot that one, and that was a cover shoot, and we needed a specific angle for the cover.
Yeah, that kind of weird down angle sort of thing.
Which was, I think, involved the photographer basically having the door open, lying in the floor well with his head basically kind of out the door, almost on the floor.
Yeah,
like looking up at the car, at a very highly modified car that, the police could probably throw the book out on its own.
because we had max power number plates obscuring their number
Max
plates.
power number plates, obscuring those number plates. And you're driving down a motorway at like 60 miles an hour.
Blocking all the lanes.
Yeah, and
traffic behind you going, get out of the way!
Yeah, and on that one, someone saw us and phoned the police. And
what a grass!
Yeah, I know.
Imagine doing it now with dash cams everywhere.
Oh, it'd be a nightmare. But yeah, we managed to get off the motorway and just pulled over as the police turned up and stuff like that.
Wow, not us, officer. No.
Well, but you must have had a few mishaps on shoots, because I mean, the other thing back then, loads of people were like smoothing doors, taking locks off, taking
No
handles
locks, no
off.
handles, yeah.
And it's like, which is great as long as you've got the key.
But yeah.
But if the key's inside the car and the photographer absent-mindedly shuts the door.
Yeah. And he knows the moment he's done it. As soon as that door shuts, makes a noise, everyone goes, Yeah, one time we had to call out the AA to break into a geezer's car for him. He's sitting there for ages, engine running, keys locked in the car.
Do you remember what car it was?
It was a smoothed off Corsa, I think, which was many of those back in the day. But it was a kind of a night shoot, so we had the lights on the car, so we had to keep the engine running. We were under like a really gnarly sort of flyover, lots of concrete around. It looked really, really cool. Had all the lights on the car. I think it had some trick lights on it and stuff. And then, the photographer, just at the moment, he knew he'd shut the door. We all went, oh no. But the AA turned up about 10 million hours later, and he just kind of put this like inflatable bag in the top of the door, pumps it up, and it come out like that. And he got his thingy down and he hooked it out when we got out. But major pain in the arse, very embarrassing. Professional bunch.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of other incidents, not with us, but I think Gary Inman had to throw a brick through a window to get back into a car. Jesus. And someone else, similar sort of thing. I think the car was all smoothed off. I think it was a Clio in Ireland.
Yeah.
And a lot of the car keys in, and I had to basically drive the guy back to his house, which was quite a way away, to pick up his spare keys. Which was fortunate.
Didn't one of the guys get a gun pulled over in Ireland or something like that at a cruise? That was before our time, but that was an old Max legend that someone. But he didn't like shoot him or anything, but he pulled out a bit of a piece. I think he was showing off. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, and I nearly fell out of a window of a donutting car. I was sitting on the window ledge, hanging out like that.
In Ireland.
In Ireland, yeah, and he did a really big one, and I nearly went ping.
Yeah, I mean there were some run-ins with the old Bill over there. They were pretty like
getting chased by the cops from one cruise location to another. Awesome. Going fully sideways the whole way.
Yeah.
Them boys can drive out there, and they don't give a shit.
They really don't, do they?
Yeah. Awesome.
Talking of police.
Yep.
You had quite a close run-in with the old Bill on that stunt on the Westminster.
London Bridge.
Bridge, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've had a few run-ins with the cops. That was pretty close. So that was in the S14, the yellow S14. I just had it imported as a drift car, and we wanted to do a burnout for a nice shot. There it is. Whew. So again, I'll do anything for a bit of money. So the boss gave me a couple of £100. He goes, go up to London Bridge and do me a big burnout. So we got up there, photographer set up and everything. Then he pulled me in on the walkie-talkie, and I sat on the spot, lit up the rear tyres and got the smoke going. There's a geezer coming the other way in like a Merc taxi looking at me going, what the fuck? And there's plumes everywhere, photographer shooting away. And he goes, right, done, go. So I disappear as quickly as possible. And literally straight after that, a load of old Bill turned up because there's a big police station just near the bridge. Obviously wondering why there's a load of smoke like coming up from the bridge and stuff.
Yeah, imagine doing that now. You would have
Mate, it'll be like
machine guns out.
Yeah, exactly. Get on the floor, tasers and everything. And I was in a bright yellow S14, and that was a well loud car as well.
I'll give you 20 quid to do it again.
Oh man, well, yeah, all right. I'll be up for that. Just give me a car that works because mine's in pieces. But yeah, I just shot off into the distance, and literally they turned up straight away, and I was driving home just poking myself the whole way. Bright yellow S14. There weren't many of them around at the time.
There weren't many.
I was well spottable,
especially with a manky front bumper like that.
Yeah, manky front bumper. Yeah, I think we photoshopped it out for the actual shot, didn't we? No, yeah, look, that looked very good, doesn't it? Yeah, it was a bit shed. It was a drift car, but boy, it did drift. Nearly killed me so many times, that thing. It was awesome though.
Well, so some of the other ones, I'm just using this as a refresher, but there was the at night, someone who shall remain unnamed. Yeah. Drifting up the A1.
Yeah. And a 4-door R34.
That's pretty fun. But I mean, you can see in that shot there.
Yeah. There's like loads of trucks behind it.
Basically, we'd slowed the traffic up quite a lot, and they're just obviously driving along going, what the fuck is going on up there?
Imagine that, dash cams and everything would be so in jail.
Dash cams, like basically, Have you ever noticed anyone that's got a dash cam?
Grasses.
Grasses.
Safety first.
But there is a certain sort of person,
Yeah.
I think, that has a dash cam.
There is.
And they're basically not the sort of people you want to be with.
No, and the cops, if they had the evidence of what we did back in the day, like we did a feeture 186 or 196 on the M6 toll road.
Yeah, because the M6 toll road hadn't long open then, so it was
quiet, middle of the night.
Someone's got to set the record.
196 miles an hour in an R32 GTR.
Yeah, and it was a bit, it wasn't bone dry either.
No, it was damp.
Yeah, it was damp.
Yeah, it was damp, and I was in the front. You guys were by the side of the road getting pictures and video, and I was in the front with the driver, and I had a little video camera, and I wanted to get a nice shot of his taco going up and down and stuff like that, but the seatbelt on, I was like, I couldn't get close enough, so I took my seatbelt off and I leaned right over like that, just as he went like a little kink in the road, like 70 miles an hour would have been totally normal, but at 180, we went round it, and the back end, I mean, he caught it, but the back end come round, and I was like, obviously my nipper just clamped shut.
Yeah, I bet.
And that was that, but Jesus Christ, that was mental, going so fast on a damp road, he was like, yeah, don't worry about it, we'll just do it.
Nice.
Maxed out, full RPM, top gear.
Yeah, I mean, that could have gone pretty wrong.
Yeah, that'd have been all over that would, yeah.
Would have been a great story.
Great story.
Max Stafford dies in 190 mile an hour.
Fireball.
Motorway, fireball.
Oh, yeah. And then we got the shots and everything, super cool. And we went to a service station just to get a bite to eat and stuff. And we were in there, chilling out, great shoot, mate. And we went out to the car park and there's a couple of coppers standing by the car.
I seem to remember that. Was it by the petrol station?
Yeah, it was. And we taped up the number plates, so naughty, just taped them over, and we forgot to take it off. And the cops were like, so why are your number plates taped up? And we were like,
didn't want any stone chips.
Something like that. Then he goes, we've had reports of loud cars and high velocity manoeuvres or something. And we were like,
nah. I mean, it's a sheddy old Nissan.
Come on, mate. I don't think GTRs were that famous back then, and it was a grey one. It looked quite stock on the outside, but it had a few tuning bits done to it. So I think they kind of knew it was us, but again, with you, if they don't catch you doing it,
exactly, you get away with it.
Exactly, that was fucking
I mean the covering up number plates thing. I remember shooting just around Peterborough, some new car or something, and I had the plates on. It's like the police. It's like I think the police do a good job generally. But,
absolutely.
You get some wanky ones, don't you? And I just got pulled over and threatened with impounding the car. And you're like, that'd be an interesting one to explain to the manufacturer. Yeah, thanks for the loan of your car. If you want it back, it's in the keeper and nick.
I've got a good one about the R32 GTR. I had the green one. I was just driving that through London, and I had the number plate. You stick it on top of your dash, don't you? This motorcycle cop come the other way. He must have clocked it. He turned me around, pulled me over, and I was like, sorry, officer. It was stuck on. It rained. It fell off. All the bullshit stories that you tell. He goes, well, I'm going to have to give you a producer. You're going to have to go and get that rectified at an MOT station. So I was like, for fuck's sake. He didn't give me points or anything like that, which is good. So I went down the MOT station. I said, look, I've got this. Can you help me out? He goes, didn't you used to work for Max Power? And I was like, yeah. He goes, don't worry about that, mate. I'll sort it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was like, yes.
Actually, that reminds me, the perks of the job. Do you remember, I think we were going down to Mean Street Cruise or something, and stopped off at, this happened a few times, but this one I was with you. And we stopped off at the Thurrock Services.
Yeah.
Thought, go and get a little Burger King. And
so good.
And we got it, went and sat down inside. And then one of the guys that worked there, and if it's you, thanks very much, he came over, he had a copy of the menu, so I think he wanted it signed, and then he just basically brought over some more food, just free food. They happened before, drive through McDonalds. If I was in one of the Max Power project cars, I'd go there, get them bag, thanks very much, and then drive off, open the bag. I didn't order 6 quarter-pounders and...
Mate, I wish that happened still today. I love the McDonald's, a bit of free ones are even better. Yeah, big up. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Free ones are great. And as far as just on other photo shoots, so I'm trying to think of memorable things that have happened on photo shoots, things that could have, because we were lucky that I think we were generally kind of, because you get used to doing something, so you kind of know what the potential risks are, but then certainly when you've got a photographer fly, there's always some element.
He's a lunatic. He doesn't care, does he?
So the TVR,
Charisma
TVR cover shoot. Mm-hmm. If you look in that feature, there's a couple of angles where it's right down on the rear 3/4 tracking shots.
Yeah, nice shot.
Yeah.
How would you get a shot like that?
Well,
safely.
Well, I don't know safely, but I know how we did it. So we had a transit van for some reason, So I was driving this transit van down the dual carriageway. I had Fly sat on the roof.
Sat on the roof.
With the passenger door open, the window down, and his feet on the windowsill. Like, door fully open, so that he's basically using that for, like, support. And he's leaning as far forward as possible. Going down the dual carriageway, and he got, like, James TVR, which was, at the time, you kind of like, that's worth a lot of money. Like, that's an expensive car. And you're doing, like, 50, 60 miles an hour down this dual carriageway.
With a big hairy photographer
on the roof.
Mental.
And he's going, bit closer, get closer. And so, like, literally, the door of this van must have been that far off Jamie's rear bumper.
It's giving me heart palpitations thinking about it.
And you kind of like, at the time, you kind of like, oh, this is, like, okay, I'm concentrating on keeping it steady, making sure I don't do anything sudden, keeping an eye out for other traffic.
Cops, everything, yeah.
And you do one run and you're like, oh, got it. And then the worst thing, when the photographer turns around and goes, right, just do that one more time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we just
Please?
got away with, like, come on.
And they'd shot hundreds of frames by then. Probably shooting it on film, that was a thing. It took a lot longer to shoot it on film to make sure you definitely
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I remember, cause someone did a bit of video. I think someone was following you in a car doing a bit of video, and there's this transit van with a massive hairy photographer sitting on the roof, and just like, absolute madness. And that was a night shoot as well, so you'd probably been up all night.
Yeah, that was the day after the night time bit, and we hadn't had much sleep.
No.
And then in fact, actually, Fly, because he was like funny, because he'd been doing that a while, and he'd just be like, well, you must know what you do, like, just do it.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I'd shot cars in LA, and I'd landed, he picked me up from the airport because he was already there, and we went straight to a shoot with a Wings West Civic, and it was like awesome car, like, yeah.
They were the Don Wins West back in the day.
And we were down by the LA docks, and Fly's like, right, let's just do the tracking shots first. Throws me the keys to the car, and I'm like, okay, this is the first time I've driven a left-hand drive car on American roads.
They do not take kindly to messing around like that.
No, especially by docks and stuff.
Jesus.
So that was like, basically, I'd just landed, bit jet-lagged, handed the keys to this car, and I'm like driving
on the wrong side of the road.
On the wrong side of the car.
Fly shouting at you.
With him hanging out the door, taking shots of this very nice car. But again, shots.
Got the shot. Well, we got busted by American cops, actually. That takes me back. I think we were shooting around New York when we was over there. It was a lovely Supra. Went to meet the geezer, got it out of his garage. We went to this big, like, car park. And like Fly was like, can you do a few donuts? And the geezer was like, yeah, don't worry about that. So he starts hooning it around. Loads of
yellow?
noise. Yeah, there's a yellow one, yeah. But there was a school over the road that we didn't even twig about. And it was a long way away. It's not as if we were like donutting around children playing football. The cops come over and they were livid. And usually, like in the UK, you can go up to a cop and say, sorry, officer. It'd be very naughty, won't do it again. And I was like, sorry, officer, it's our fault. We asked him to do it. And he was like, step back, get away.
Really?
And I got in loads of trouble, yeah.
And he's armed as well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they will shoot you out there, mate.
Well, see, I had a yellow Super incident out there, like, but we were shooting like this top secret wide body one by Irwindale Speedway, but there was like this big bank thing of just like stones, and I don't know what's the other side of it, but I'm presuming it was something a bit secret. Cause,
Area 51?
Yeah, because like we were literally just had the car parked doing static shots, and the cops came over and were like being pretty heavy-handed about it.
Yeah, they really are. They're going hard, don't they?
Yeah, I remember that happened a few times when you're trying to do shoots around like industrial areas. It's like, and I look around now actually, and like so much of it has been like the security on places is so much tighter now.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pretty lucky back then.
Yeah.
But there were like some wanky security guards.
I mean, usually you just turn up, start shooting, and hope to get away with it, and like apologise later if they did come up and give you a bollocking. Like, usually you could talk around security guards back in the day, but now they're just like they're all over it, and there are cameras everywhere. Man, you just can't take some photos of cool cars anymore on private property.
Doing silly shit.
Yeah, you can't do donuts on private property anymore, mate. What's the world coming to?
Aren't you? We're not the only people that do silly stuff on these places. I think I said to you before about when we shot that the Zara cover car that Xavi built, like awesome car.
Yeah.
And we were down by the docks in Barcelona, and you're like cool locations everywhere. But it was where they store all the new cars before they get shipped off to like dealers or whatever. And you know, like new cars, you treat them nicely, right? And you've got
supposedly
you got the running in mileage.
The running in period, yeah.
And there were these multi-storey car parks with a ramp up the side, which would basically go up level so you could get into the floor up level. And these Spanish nutters were basically parking these cars up, but like I think they were in some sort of competition so you could get the most air.
Nice.
So I don't know if you've got like a.
If your suspension's a bit squeaky.
Yeah, if you bought like a 2003 Seat and the suspension's a bit screwed and the engine's like a bit knackered.
Yeah, and it's banana shaped.
Yeah, yeah, you probably know why.
Crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah, crazy. So what about on all your model shoots? Because like I generally try to avoid doing girl stuff because
Shoots.
Well, because I wanted to do car stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I get that.
And actually, I remember doing like there was some like Twister shoot with, like sort of Olivia and Natasha and stuff like that.
Lovely Olivia.
I remember like doing that and just thinking like, this is a painful experience. You know, like you're sat there and it's like a really hot studio and you've just got these girls all in bikinis bending over in front of you and it's like.
What's painful about that? Painful in the pants, mate.
Well, yeah, a little bit. It's like, you know. I don't think Tom Critchell's studio had anywhere where you could nip into a corner and whack one off.
No,
so.
you couldn't. Not that I ever did that.
Oh, mind you did some of the didn't you do some of the club shoots when we were like linked up with that porn mag and they got like proper porn stars?
Yeah, we did.
Like, so that's like proper rat out.
That was that was Beaver Central. That was that was down in London. That was with Club Magazine, Club International. It was called the Porn Car Shoots, wasn't it? So we'd supply a nice modified motor and they'd supply the birds. And we'd use like the not too naughty stuff, and they'd use whatever they wanted in their magazines.
I think the Charisma R5 was used for one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I think that green 300ZX.
Oh, Cash's
car. Yeah, and I used to do a little bit of behind the scenes video, which I still have, which is available for download for £500 a shot. It's worth it.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah, they were good afternoons. They were.
Yeah, I mean the weird thing about some of my observations from girl shoots. I remember there was one shoot we were doing down in London somewhere in some studio. I think it might have been for Max Live or something. And we had one bird come in and everyone in the studio was like, oh, fucking hell, look at her, like what I saw, like beautiful. And she got in front of the camera and you look at the photos going, like, just, like, she just looked, she was just basically crap in front of the camera.
Oh, right.
It's like she didn't, like, the wow factor didn't transform into
not photogenic sort of thing.
But then
not very good model.
Yeah, but then Sophie Howard, I think it was, walked in. No one even batted an eyelid when she walked in because she just looked kind of plain, like you'd walk.
Sorry, Sophie.
Well, not kind of plain, but she wasn't like she didn't look really tarty and like whatever. And then she came out, went in front of the camera. You're looking at the shots, and it was just like everyone was like, "Fucking hell, that's awesome." So it kind of made me think that actually there's a lot of girls that look decent in the flesh, but aren't so great.
Yeah, totally, mate. It's a huge difference. It's still like transforming it on the camera and looking super hot.
Like Jackie.
Like Jackie, yeah, she is.
She was right on both counts, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was great. Look at the Dexter. Look at that pout. She's probably the favourite Max Babe. I think everyone will agree out there when we speak to the guys about favourite Max Babe. Probably Jackie Degg, isn't it?
Jackie Degg does seem to get a lot of love.
Yeah.
It's a shame she's doesn't seem that keen to be remembered for the Max Power era.
She doesn't want to relive those days, does she? I mean, we reached out to her and I think she said, how about fuck off?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a few have said something along those lines.
Rebecca with a K.
Yeah. Rebecca with a K, she was always like... Well, actually, I was going to say always one of my favourites, but they were quite nice.
Yeah, they're all total bad.
Don't like to discriminate.
No, you definitely would. Any of them. I mean, they're all in their 60s now, but I still would.
Yeah. Well, still 20 years younger than you then.
Oh, yeah.
What about your own mishaps? You must, because you, I mean, you've...
crashed a few cars.
Well, and also,
got nicked.
I mean, you're a liability, aren't you? I remember...
I just like to have fun. I don't take things too seriously.
Didn't you get a ban once?
Got a ban, yeah. I had a few 3 points, and I was driving. I had 9 points, and I had a cunning plan. I thought if I get caught speeding today and I get another 3 points, then I'll get a ban, then they'll reset it, and then I can just carry on driving.
Oh, that's perfect logic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do any research on it, so I was in the pink Proton Satria GTI, purpley pinky thing, and I was driving down, and I was like, I think I'm going to get nicked for speeding today.
That's the one with the quite dark orange tints, or
it's quite a leery car. I had a lot of fun in that car. It was a good car.
Quite noisy as well.
Nearly crashed that so many times.
Really?
And I thought, well, if I'm going to get nicked for speeding, I might as well make it count. So I'll do over 100 all the way down the M11, over 100. And yeah, there was a copper right there, and he pulled me over, and I got nicked. And I went to court and stuff, and they gave me a 6-month ban. And I was like, but that's not how it was supposed to work. Fuck it.
When you're drinking a beer?
No, I wasn't drinking. That's Max Power legend, that is, drinking a beer and stuff.
So the legend that you thought one beer can't hurt because you're still under the limit.
Yeah,
and when you saw the police car, you were like, right, better throw the joint out the window and hide the can under the...
No,
that didn't happen.
That's an old Max Power lifestyle, that is.
Okay.
But yeah, I got nicked, yeah. Don't do that in a pink proton.
Did it all get reset and stuff?
No, it didn't. Well, it did, yeah. I mean, you come back with a clean licence, but then you have to serve your ban, and that's not ideal when you work for a car magazine having a ban.
Yeah, well, I remember because we were going to go up to Doncaster and you wanted to take your Skyline to it. So you're like, Millsy, can you drive it up with me?
Yeah, thanks for driving, mate.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then on the way home, you were like, oh, no, don't worry about driving it back. I'm like, fine, I'll take something else. And I think I was with some of the other guys at the Stamford McDonalds because you had to go, Spalding McDonalds because you had to kind of come back that way to pick it. And then I just heard this, saw some purple
throbbing
Skyline, like
flames out the exhaust. Yeah, the cops never see
so so obviously you got someone else to drive you home.
Yeah, I think it's my mum or something. Right? Yeah, my mum, she liked that car. Yeah, I got busted in that car because I had the number plate and it was K-Reg something. And I thought I'd be cunning, so to avoid like speed cameras, I swapped a couple of the letters around so it read slightly differently. But when you put it into the police national computer, whatever, it came up as a Ford Escort. So I was driving into...
Very modified Ford.
Very modified. I was driving into show one time, this couple like, he goes, well, that's a Ford Escort. And I was like, and they gave me a ticket for that as well, yeah.
They were checking number plates on the way to the show. Which
show
was that?
Yeah, I think it was a really small number plate, so I think he got the ump about that.
Like
so
Western,
must have
Western Wheels or something.
Yeah,
like
Western
that,
Wheels, yeah. And then I got a ticket through the post for having a small number plate that didn't match the car and stuff. I was like,
that's not bad, just getting a ticket.
Well, and I didn't bother sorting the ticket out, so I don't know what happened with that. I was just... Can't get me now, coppers. Years ago, you can't get me now. Can they get me now? Can they get me now?
I think probably.
Oh, my address is 123 Fake Street.
Yeah, Fakeland.
Fakeland.
Yeah, I think because we all had there were a few mishaps with Max Power cars as well, weren't there? Like,
that Mazda project car we had, I was having a race with a motorbike on the way to Max Live or something like that, and he undertook it just as I was doing that, and I fucking hit him and nearly killed him. Yeah, it was his fault.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was trying to pull off and he undertook me, ding like that, he took the wind mirror off. He carried on.
Oh, I remember the wing mirror being taped.
Yeah.
Or missing or something. That was you, was it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we had to park it against the wall like that at the show with the dent towards the wall. No one knew, no problem.
Perfect. Well, I did a similar thing actually with my Escort. I think it was Max London. I had to park it with the nose in a corner because about a week before it had been down having its wheels repainted, and it was in like this little workshop bit that had a rack of alloy wheels on display and it had the remote start alarm, and the guy was like, gave me the keys and go, yeah mate, it's all done, like take it away. So I thought, I'll be flash and start the car up, and then slow motion it's like hit the button, heard the engine starting, just like everyone go like that as a car, because I left it in gear. I'll never leave my car in gear unless I'm on a hill, and it just like started up, and it was loud as well, and it just hopped forward a little bit. I'm like diving through the window for some reason, trying to stop it, and I'm like, well, just like I don't really know what I'm doing.
Oh, the panic! You pressing all the buttons, aren't you?
And a bunch of other people had like jumped in front of the car, and it stalled, and then it tries to start again. Yeah. So it started again, and it like just hit this alloy wheel rack that was like wobbling. And it's like, I mean, if that rack had come down, the car would have been fucked. Over. Like my front bumper was a bit screwed, and the other side of that wheel rack, there was like thin partition wall, and that was their stock room where they had all this ice equipment and stuff. It could have been nasty.
Well, that's why the front bumper on my yellow S14 was all chewed up, because I had it parked against the fence at BB Tuning, and they were looking at it for me. I was like, I'll check this out, boys. He goes, ka-dunk, ka-dunk, just like chewing into the fence in front of me. Like, oh, come on.
I think Maxi P was the first one to have that. He had a Mark 1 Golf, didn't he? And,
yeah,
he
so
did
cool.
He did it in a work car park, and it just like hopped up like a little bank into something.
We've all done it. It's like, do not get a remote start.
Yeah, unless you've got an automatic car. That's
don't bother.
Pointless. Although it's quite flash when it works.
Yeah, it does look cool with the chicks and stuff until you leave it in gear and it smashes through someone's conservatory or something like that.
In fact, actually, just thinking about the work car park, I always remember the time when I came out of, because I was working late, sorting out Max Live stuff. So I was like, well late, and I parked my Escort when it was white and kind of pretty standard apart from wheels, I think, in the work, like in the visitors bit, which was the nearest building. And Ben Barry was there as well. And we were the last two people in the building. I walk out about 10 at night. It's like, what's in my car?
Is that pile of glass, my car?
Yeah, and it was just like a little bit of glass. Oh, fuck it. Car's been stolen. So we jumped in his M3 and went screaming around trying to see if we could find it.
Yeah.
And that's when you realise, because I phoned 999, it's like, the car's been stolen, because it's like the fucking biggest emergency in the world. And they're like, no, you need to phone the local police station.
Yeah, get a crime reference number and that'll be
like,
that.
oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Although that's a weird one, because having your car stolen really sucks, like on numerous levels. So, A is like your car, so like fucking thieving scumbags, and then it's the inconvenience and the cost afterwards. So
screwed in every way.
Yeah, not only did I
favourite jazz mag in the glove box.
Yeah, exactly.
Gone forever.
Yeah, not only could I didn't have a car to get to work with, it got recovered somewhere. It had a hole in the fuel tank, so it wasn't drivable. It had been impounded, like it had been taken to the pound or whatever, and you basically have to pay.
Yeah,
for
recovery
the
fees and
storage.
everything.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
thanks.
Oh yeah, so it was like 90 quid out of pocket just to have them put it somewhere for me. Plus your insurance goes up as well, and then you've got a fuck car which you've got to repair, and that was like a big catalyst for doing like a lot more stuff to it, because it's like, well, it's fucked anyway, so I might as well.
Yeah, you might as well paint it and tie it up. Yeah. Jesus. Fucking scumbags.
Yeah, scumbags. The weird thing about that one is the police came to the office afterwards, and like looking back now, I think I was a bit stupid, because he was. I don't know why they come and talk to you. I think it's like some sort of like.
They don't bother now.
Yeah, I don't think they bother now so much. But he was going, oh yeah, so we think we know who did it. Like it's been someone, and I'm sure he gave me like a name and a road.
Go around and kick his head in.
Well, yeah, like
if you want to.
But I think that's like looking back now. I'm kind of thinking that's what he might have been saying, because it's like
go and take some revenge.
Yeah,
yeah, old school.
Yeah, I mean it was.
That'd be nice.
It would have been awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Although I think we did a few features in the mag about people that had done that and ended up
twockers.
Well, people that had beaten up twockers and ended up inside because of it. And it's like,
can't do it.
Where's the fucking justice?
There is no justice, mate. It's a terrible world.
It's a terrible. Didn't you smash your S13 up as well?
Yeah, hit someone up the arse on the M25. I was distracted whilst driving back from a show.
How were you distracted?
Well, there was a hot Max babe next to me, and
things were happening.
And I looked up and everything was stationary. But the lady in front was very nice about it. I think she fancied it actually.
I had when I was a young man, I had a very similar thing in my 205 GTI. I went into the back of.
It's embarrassing.
Like an old couple.
You went up the back of an old couple?
Well, I was being fluffed at the time by my bird. And it was like, when you're young, like any sort of incident, anything that's going to put a claim on your insurance when the insurance premiums are just like ridiculous. It's like, oh no, this is literally the worst thing that can happen to you. And I got out and I was kind of thinking, well, it's definitely my fault. And this old bloke, bless him, he was like, had a look at his car and he went, oh, it's happened before, it won't be the last time it will happen, and just totted off on his merry way.
Nice.
I'm like,
I love old people.
Yeah, you're a legend. I mean, like, it was probably half his fault that I crashed into him, because he probably didn't move when the lights were moving.
Yeah, silly old bastard. I hate old people.
Yeah, fucking old people. Coughing dodgers. Classic Max phrase. Coughing dodgers.
Coughing dodgers.
But speaking of insurance, which we were.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if there was like a insurance company where you could that understood modified cars?
Yeah. What, experts in the field?
Experts in the field, long standing, maybe even from back in the days of Max Power.
Yeah.
That were big supporters.
So they know they modify cars and all that jazz.
Yeah. All that jazz. And then, like, if you could just go online to a dedicated page that was like Max's page.
Okay, well, on our website, and you could just go on there and have a look.
Yeah, and then link to this page, and then put in details about your car, like quite very simple. You can list all the modifications, and the list is like a proper one where it's like actual modifications that people do.
Nice coilovers, turbo, big spoiler.
Yeah, and then they talk to all the insurance companies that they work with, and you'd end up with a comparison prices from different companies at really good rates.
Oh, okay, so experts in the field that understand the modifications, you don't have to talk to them on the phone, just put it all in on the website.
Yeah. But you can talk on the phone.
You can talk on the phone as well, yeah. It's good to talk.
Yeah, but you can do it all online real quick.
Yeah, and then they search a bunch of specialist insurers and come back with a price.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
That'd be a great idea. Has anyone done it?
Well, strange you should say that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Compare.
It's Compare?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've heard a rumour they're really good at doing that sort
It's
of thing.
Compare. And if you went on the Max's website under like our insurance little clicky button, you might find it on
The
there.
bit that says partners.
Partners sounds posh.
Imagine if they were like an official Max's partner because we believe in what they do and they believe in what we do.
And they insure my Civic for me.
Yeah.
K24 gave me a right headache, but they got me a price and it was a good price.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Yeah. It's Compare.
So if you need insurance...
for a nice modified car.
For a nice modified car from people that understand modified cars.
And actually drive them themselves.
Yeah. And give it a go. Have we got some... did they say they'd give our guys some discounts at some point?
Yeah, they did. What was that?
I can't remember. But we'll post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So there will be discounts or something, which we'll tell you guys about on the page. But if you're asking why are we talking about it and why should you go on there, like, should we be really honest? Okay, basically, the guys at It's Compare, who like we trust because they've been in the market a long time supporting Max Power.
And they've insured my cars for years.
And they've insured your cars for years.
And they go way back.
Yeah. So basically, if you go onto our page, take out, get some quotes and end up going with one of them, then they give us a little bit of cash kickback.
Commission, it's called, Millsy. Oh, it's not called a backhander, Millsy.
No. I think it's a legit thing.
It's legit.
But obviously, we want to keep on bringing Max's content to you and like travel around the country, shoot some cool cars, and
it costs a lot of money to be this rubbish.
It really does. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So anything that we get off that, we're playing straight back into Max's. So in a way, rather than just asking for like a GoFundMe page or something a bit wanky like that, it's like we try and get a deal for you.
Yeah.
That can also help us out to bring you more content. So
it's a win-win scenario.
It really is.
We'll start finishing each other's sentences. There you go.
There we go. We did it this time. I think last time we didn't do it.
We're getting better.
We are. Well, debatable.
Masturbating.
Max Power Photoshoot mishaps. Are there any more that we should talk about? I mean, there's stuff that necessarily we weren't involved in, but you remember when Johnny Smith did the Jigsaw at Essex jump in the Sierra? I mean,
that was cool.
I mean, it's a pretty cool picture.
Yeah.
I'll probably try and edit the shot in a bit better than this, but
because we did like a full health and safety evaluation on the day. You know, we didn't just build a ramp and then drive a car at it at about 40 miles an hour. I mean, that'd just be ridiculous. But we did do that.
Exactly,
and he went so high in the air.
He went really high.
I mean, landing like that.
I think
he nearly broke his neck, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably going to be suffering back issues.
Well, it's like Quasimodo now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. See what it did to his face.
Job.
That was trouble.
Yeah, that was a miss. I mean, he could have died.
Yeah, he really could have done. That was pretty silly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was top speed runs. That we.
The biggest one was 196 on the M6 toll road, but that was at Evo did 180 through the.
Well, there was also
tunnel.
Evo through the Hatfield tunnel. Yeah, that was another one. And obviously the top secret super on the A1, which was just before we joined, which was.
But we've never managed to crack 200 miles an hour, have we?
On public roads.
Yeah. How fast is your M3? Not fast enough.
Well, no, I don't need to do 200. But I'm sure there's a car out there that could. Not that we condone that sort of behaviour in any way.
No, we certainly wouldn't video it. So.
No, we certainly wouldn't blank off number plates.
No, we certainly wouldn't do that.
Protect people's identities or anything like that. No.
Sounds like the A-team was kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that is quite cool.
The A-team, sorry.
Yeah, any other mishaps we should talk about? I mean, there were so many, like the stupid shit that went on, like, I don't know, it's not even mishaps, but like just like when you kind of think back to some of the crazy stuff. Do you remember going down to Magnicor?
Yeah. In a Scooby and an Evo.
Yeah, and then there was that Turbo Bungle guy with the Supra, and his mate had, was it an M3 or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. And there was like a lot of undertaking on hard shoulders and stuff like that.
I think on the way back from Magnicor one time, you were driving in a Cord Type R, a brand new one, and we were maxed out, and there was this geezer in an old Merc, like trying to keep up with us.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, he was behind us trying to keep up with us, and we were floored out, and we looked in behind us, and he just went as his engine exploded.
Well, that Accord Type R, I remember being like on the way down there.
That's a great car.
Well, this is why I like Accord Type R's, because we were driving down there, and I'm like, there's some old duffer in the fast lane, and I'm like, right up his arse, like, just get the fuck out of the way. And then, like, so he hadn't moved for ages, and then he moved. And the reason he moved is because someone's bike had fallen off their car and was in the middle of the road. So I'm like, sort of 5 up in this Accord Type R, everyone else is asleep. And they woke up pretty quickly when I went, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like that. But the car, bless it.
Awesome handling.
Yeah, awesome handling.
Engine that never expires. That's the great thing about Honda engines.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I think we borrowed a Civic Type R another time. I remember having Olivia and Debs in the back. And,
that's a nice little backseat duo, isn't it?
And maxing that out on the auto route. So they do an indicated
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Great cars.
They are, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
rusty, but great.
Rusty, yeah. Don't buy a rusty one.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, I mean, we nearly died a few times. Should have gone to prison several times.
Yeah.
Great times, though.
You probably narrowly escaped a few pretty serious venereal diseases.
Yeah. No, I didn't escape them. I got I got them all. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. And, I mean, there was some, well, I don't know, maybe that's for another one, but there were some proper reprobates on the magazine as well, weren't there? I mean, like, the stories we could tell you.
That's for another video. I think it was the X-rated.
Although, actually, I'm just going to finish it off with, do you remember, so every year they used to do, like our publishing company did an awards do. And
down at the Groves in the hotel in London.
Yeah, it was like pretty swanky.
Yeah.
And so we always went down there and hired out like some sort of bus or limo or whatever.
Something, yeah.
And it was pretty debauched inside that thing.
Boozy. Yeah. And
you'd get down to the awards and everyone was fucked. Like, so you're all like in tuxes or whatever, but we'd stumble out this bus. And there was one year when the company had set up, like, when staff arrived from different magazines, they gathered together and you'd have a group photo.
Nice group photo.
Yeah.
Everyone nicely dressed.
It's great. I don't remember too much from that night. But what I do remember is being back at the office about a week later and it's like, oh, the photos are online.
Great.
Went online and it was like, okay, there's Bike Magazine's group shot. There's Revs Magazine. There's like FHM. Like scroll through. Where the fuck's that? And then like, hold on. I'm getting some flashbacks of lots of people getting naked.
Yeah.
Or like just pulling their pants down.
There was nudity and they refused to publish the photo, didn't they?
So I hate to think where that photo is now.
Jesus, there's a lot of flesh in that.
There really was. Oh, great.
A lot of hairy flesh that you just don't want to see.
No.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, if you've got more questions about any Max Power photo shoots that we've forgotten to mention, because there's loads and I'm sure you've got questions, then drop them in the comments below. We'll try and answer them.
Fun and games.
Fun and games. And in the meantime, if you want insurance, you know where to go.
Do it. Clickety click.
Yeah, because we need some petrol money.
Yeah, some bag money. Some booze money. And we like kebabs.
Yeah, and strippers.
Strippers, lovely strippers. Supposed to be professional now, Millsy.
Oh yeah.
We need
marketing materials.
Yeah, post-it notes. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
See you later. Chill me out.